Hello, my name is Brian Montalvo Ramos, and this is going to be my second part of my MaintenanceShop program. Essentially, we're in phase one of our preparation. So, as we stated in our last presentation, this console application is here to manage all the customer records for the maintenance shop. Each customer is going to be identified as through their phone number, which is our primary key in our database. And then we're going to be using Java and SQLite for our database, as well as um, Java to create our different classes and our dial pattern. So architectural wise, I decided to use a layered architecture with dial, right? This gives me a lot more flexibility when it comes to an expansion in the future. So essentially, we're isolating our database from our UI. That way, it's to different systems. So the Java is interacting with our database through the customer DAO, which is a pre-written uh, prompt that we use to interact with our SQLite database and our table there. So for object definitions, we have our customers, of course. The attributes are going to be the phone number, the name, the address, the email, and all fields will be presented in the table named customers in the MaintenanceShop database. So for our functional requirements, we again, like we stated before, it's going to run an application through the console. It's going to be a front desk uh, console at this point in time. So the front desk should be able to add customers, search customers by phone number, update customers, remove the customers, and list all customers that we have in the system. Our non-functional, same as before, we're using SQLite via JDBC. We want fast response time. We want to make sure that we have a backup to our database, right? The MaintenanceShop database. And it's a role-based system as is planned for the future phases. So later on, we're going to have role-based logins and authentication through the system. So we want to minimize any kind of lags, any kind of errors, and if such errors do come up, it's clearly stated what the error occurred. So we're using SQLite for our database. This is our database right here, Maintenance Shop DB. Our table, right? That's going to be our customers. This is the way we design our SQL query to create that table, right? So the phone number, I have it a limit set to 11 digits or characters. Then we have our primary key, which is going to be our phone number, and it's not null, so it has to be filled in. Our name is limited to 50 characters, and it cannot be empty. Address can't be empty, and our email, which are both set to 100, uh, it's optional. So these are the different phases that we're going through our program. We're currently in phase one, so customer only console app with our list of requirements and persistence in the SQLite files, meaning that we have access to the SQLite table and we are able to manipulate the data and extract it in DB. So our UI console is the same as before. It's menu driven. Uh, the way it works is by input on the back end of things. Every input's being validated to ensure that it's following our preset requirements. So you're going to see the list view shown on the table like rows, and then later on future, we want to upgrade our console to be more pleasing and give us different options, such as the reports that we stated before, and potentially different roles, uh, depending on where this company would like to go. Okay, this is going to be our activity flow. So essentially, you'll go through the menu, you'll select what options you would like to put, you'll put inputs, it'll validate those inputs, the DAO will call interact with our SQLite database, and it's going to show us our results. If there's a duplicate or if there's an error, it's going to show you an error in our console, and it's going to loop around to force you to select an appropriate choice or to enable you to start over to try to get the data correctly. After everything's done and it passes through our checks to make sure our data is validated, it's going to update, our customer table in SQLite. And then if you're removing or updating, it's going to confirm, and it's going to confirm the action that you performed. So in this slide is showing us our UI design and our updated list, right? So we have the maintenance shop, list a customer, add a customer, search customer by phone, update customer, remove customer, obviously exit. So you're going to go down here, you're going to select one of these choices, and you're going to just follow the prompts and input the data that's being asked for. So this slide here shows us our use case matrix. So this is going to be a front desk role, right? We should be able to perform the following procedures. So add a customer, find search, update customer, remove customer, and list customers. Then our next slide is going to show us our use case diagram, which is UML, right? So it's going to show us how the front desk will interact with our program and what they should get back. So they should validate or confirm deletion depending on which choices they would like to perform. Okay, so here we have our diagrams to show each class and how they're set up and how they're gonna relate to one another. So we have our main application right here on top, which is the maintenance app right here. So everything that goes through this maintenance app will go through our customer DAO, which is what is interacting with our SQLite database. So this is where we update anything to do with the table. And then these are going to set our attributes in our getters and setters for our customers, right? And then our connection manager is going to be our only static connection. Essentially, are going to be our static class. This connects us to our SQLite database. So again, maintenance app, it's our main application. This is where our console is. Everything will go through our customer DAO, right? Which will utilize the connection manager to ensure all these interactions can be made and completed. And then this is our requisites and our getters and setters for our Java program console. So our UI for our coding strategy, right? Our UI is scanner based. So input, so that means that it's gonna keep looping until you make a valid selection, and it's going to ensure that all the input that you have or that you try to input in meets our requisites, right? So we're gonna encapsulate all that data and use our DAO to make sure that all the data we input is validated and updated in our SQLite database, right? This is all performed. Our connection is performed and maintained by the connection manager. Again, our DAO is going to be our prepare statements for all our SQL query, right? And then our Java is going to be our UI and our domain, right? So that's how we're going to have this program set up. And again, we're using a layered pattern to ensure that we have a lot of more flexibility when it comes to expansion in the future and simplicity, right? So our very last slide is going to be an example of an input that we managed to get into our console and what we chose, the information that we put in, and what it will look like when it's validated. So right here, we have our main menu right here. We chose to add a customer, right? So we added a customer, we chose 2. So it prompted us to put in a phone number. So we put in a phone number right here. So you see how it's less than 11 characters. So I took it, I put our name, right? So the name we chose, Monkey D. Luffy, right? Our address, 1231 Casawano Island, 22822. And then our email is the King of the Pirates at mail at Valencia. So after we put in all that information that we were prompted to, it's going to show us if our transaction went through. And right here is saying it was added to our SQL table. So after it took our input, we go back to the main menu, we choose list customers, and this is going to be the way it's going to look once we have more customers. It's going to look like a table, right? So phone number, name, address, and email. So the more customers we add in, the bigger this table will be. This sets us up for any future reports that's coming in phase 2 and phase 3. And it allows us to be able to export it in a popular format like a table. So that's my presentation for today. Thank you for watching.